Having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor, and I'm the guy that wants to help put money in your pocket, and I want to help you. I am here in Ghana right now, and that's part of the reason why, if you follow me, you might notice that I'm popping in whenever every chance I get. Mainly because there's so many things I want to tell you about the trip in terms of things I'm learning. This is a great trip for intelligent Black people. Basically what we're doing is we're over here having fun, and but we're also meeting up with scholars and thinkers and business people and political leaders and all kinds of individuals that want to make life better for their people, for their families, etc. That's the goal. This ain't quite a carnival cruise. We're not doing it that way, no disrespect, but this is actually a situation where the goal is to elevate. We want to elevate, we want to do better, we want to see our children win, and we want to see the power base of the Black community grow. And everybody's welcome to be involved. You don't have to be where you want to be. You just have to want to. You just have to know where you want to go and go somewhere good. All right. So anyway, let me break down some things for you in terms of African investment. These are things that many of these things are things I knew before. I've known so many things for many years, but some of these things have become more apparent to me as I've been here and kind of doing analysis. I believe every situation is a learning opportunity, and so Africa is obviously no different. There's a lot to learn here if you are open-minded. And so, by the way, before I begin, though, let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes if you can hear me. And let me know that I am coming through okay. Just give me a quick yes in the chat. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to just say this. I believe that every single Black person should want to invest in Africa. Also, I believe every single Black person needs to visit Africa. I'm not saying that you got to be Pan-African. I'm not talking about the politics of it all. I'm really talking about the fact that Africa really is a mother lode of opportunity and possibility if your goal is to power up and level up financially. And I'm going to break down some of what's happening with the African economy in terms of things that you want to know going forward so you can make the best decision for your family. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I do not give investing advice on this channel ever. But what I can tell you right now is that this is where it's at. This is what's going to happen going forward. Africa is the sweet spot economically, and it's beautiful because we when you come over here, at least in Ghana for sure, most of the people in Ghana that I have met have been very friendly, loving, good culture, good people. They want to learn from us. We learn from them. They take care of us. We take care of them. That's been my experience, and I've been here twice. But then again, though, every place has a variety of experiences, so not everybody's experience is always going to be the same. So anyway, with that said, let me break down some of what I've been observing and some things that you want to consider in your investing journey. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. That helps the algorithm. Number two, I do have a couple podcasts on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and look up Boyce Watkins, you'll find the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, and you'll also find Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market. And on Dr. Boyce Daily Stock Market, I've been able to upgrade my team. So now we're able to actually give you daily updates on what's happening in the market almost every single day. So that's an upgrade. We're trying to level up, just like we're asking everyone else to consider leveling up in your own life. All right. So with that being said, here are some things about Africa that should just freak you out in terms of why we need Africa and why Africa needs us, why African Americans need the continent, and why the continent needs African Americans. First thing is this. How many of you know, give me a yes in the chat if you know that Black spending power now is well over $1.6 trillion. How many of y'all know it's between 1.6 and 1.8 trillion? It depends on which source you look at. As of 2025, Black spending power has just continued to skyrocket. We have a ton of money. We're giving most of that money to white people. I personally believe we should give some of that money to Black people, starting with us, each other, and also Black people in other parts of the world that are more likely to relate to us. How many of you know that we have 1.6 to 1.8 trillion in spending power? Give me a yes if you knew that. Number two, how many of you knew this? Maybe you didn't know this, but check this out. Did you know that if you were to look at the wealthiest or the highest gross domestic product countries in Africa, there's 54 countries. If you were to look at the countries that are the richest countries, did y'all know that African American people have a spending power level that exceeds The gross domestic product of every single country in Africa. Did you know that? They're literally, if we were an African country, we'd be the richest country on the entire continent of Africa by a long shot. By a long shot. Ain't even close. It's Michael Jordan versus Gary Payton, right? It ain't even close. Okay, there's not we are if given that we can embrace some of that, right? I know there's a whole conversation about what they call delineation and making sure that we as African American people, descendants of slaves who built this country, get our just due and don't let anybody get in the way of that, that we get our reparations, we get all these things that we deserve in America, the country that we built. We are the economic goats of the continent. I mean, we let me let me just give y'all some numbers, okay? So we can like get to the nitty-gritty of why I'm literally yelling this because it's so first African American people, again, we have that 1.6 to 1.8 trillion in spending power. I can't remember if it's 1.8 or 1.6. Let's go with the middle number. Let's say it's 1.7, okay? That's the number we'll agree upon. It might be slightly lower. So what? It's going to be higher soon. The richest country in Africa has a gross domestic product. That's South Africa, has a gross domestic product of $410 billion. $410 billion. That's less than one fourth of black spending power. Do y'all understand when I tell you that we dominate? Like we are the economic Michael Jordans of the earth when it comes to brown skinned people. First of all, can we take a moment and kind of breathe on that a little bit and give ourselves some credit? I know we like to cuss each other out and talk down on ourselves and get mad about what we haven't done right. Can we at least take a moment and give ourselves credit for the fact that we are a sleeping giant when it comes to economics. Once we master those economics, once we understand that power and how to control it, we're gonna be pretty beastly. The B1 people, especially those who are black first, those who are breaking generational curses, those who are getting the therapy and healing, those who are committed to building strong families, those who are educating their kids, you're gonna be stronger than the Jewish community at some point. Your great grandchildren are gonna have the power that the Jewish community has because you outnumber the Jewish community already, and now you're outthinking them. Because again, I'm a finance professor. I taught thousands of Jewish kids, and they're not bad people, but they're not us. They're not like us. So at the end of the day, I need you to accept the idea that you're supposed to dominate this sucker. You're supposed to win. You're going to win. Your grandkids are going to win. We are just, it may not feel like you're winning all the time because you look out the window and you see chaos, but most of y'all are not connected to the chaos. Most of you are raising your kids. Over here in Ghana, I'm meeting black families that are sending their children to Ivy League schools. I'm meeting black families that are forming family investment clubs. I'm meeting black families that have over $1 million in wealth that started with nothing and ended up with $1 million in wealth. I'm meeting people that have a vision that are willing to sacrifice for that. So pat yourselves on the back for that. Now, with that said, let's get back to the numbers so we can understand what I'm seeing here, and I'm hoping that you can see what I'm seeing here so we can understand each other. Not only do we have a spending power in the African American community that exceeds every single country in Africa by a long shot, if you were to add up the richest countries in Africa, go to the top seven. If you would add up, South Africa's number one, Egypt is number two, Algeria is number three, Nigeria is number four, Morocco's number five, Kenya's number six, Ethiopia's number seven. If you were to add up the top seven richest countries in Africa, then they would match the African American community. So you can't tell me that we don't have the power to do whatever the hell we want. It's all about how you think. It's all about how you think. If you go to, let me ask you, give me a yes or no. If I go to Algeria, do you think Algeria has its own school system? Yes or no? Well, if Algeria literally brings in an income that's literally 1/7 of our income, and they have a school system, then why can't we have our own school system too? If I go to Morocco, does Morocco own its own professional sports leagues? Yes, they do. And they have an income that is far less than ours, like probably about 1/8 of ours. So if they can have their own sports leagues with their income level, then we can have our own sports leagues too. If I go to Angola, that has a GDP that's about I want to say 1/15th of the African American community, do you think that Angola has its own media platforms, television networks? Well, if they have their own television networks and they have 1/16th or 1/15th of the money that we have, then we can have our own television networks too. So don't you dare ever try to tell me that black people can't afford to build. Don't you dare ever tell me that black people are too poor to own and control anything. Don't you dare tell me that black people don't have enough resources to have some power and build its own institutions. You're not broke. You're just broken. You're broken. And what has to happen is when you're broke, then and you're broken, even though you're not broke, but you're broken. So you're broken and you just need to be awoken. You just need to wake up the sleeping giant. You just need to learn how to think about your economics from the top down instead of thinking from the bottom up. If you start your journey in the basement and you're trying to get to the penthouse, you'll never make it to the penthouse. So what I would say is start in the penthouse and then work your way down. So let me keep going here. Other facts about Africa and why Black people should invest in Africa. And let me just say this too. For those of you that want to start with just publicly traded stocks, which I highly recommend as a way to get started with your African investing journey, I have a list of different ways you can invest in Africa. I put that together for you guys. If you go to my Instagram, which is Dr. Boyce Finance, there's a video I put up about this. I put it up just tonight. Just type the word Africa in the comments, and you'll get a DM on Instagram with a link to that video. So just go to, in fact, I think you can go to any video, type the word Africa, and it'll DM you a list of the African stocks. And then also, if you want to be invited to our daily Money in the Morning class, just text the word morning on your phone to the number 87948. Text morning to 87948. And for those of you that come to the morning class, I'm sorry that I can't make the morning classes because in Ghana, the time zones are so weird that I can't actually make the time that we normally meet. That's why I've had to cancel so many times this week. All right. Now, with that said, here are some facts about Africa. Now, don't type Africa in the comments here. Don't type it here. You got to go over to Instagram and type the word Africa in the comments there, or you can also or you can just text that word morning to the number 87948 and I can text it out that way. That's the only way I can get it to you. All right, and I'll even, let me see if I can, I'll try to grab it and put it in the chat right now for those of you that are watching live. That way you'll just have it live here as well if that's what you want to do. All right, now let me give you some facts about Africa that explains why you should um understand that Africa is going to be an economic beast going forward. So you're already a beast. Let's just be clear. African American people, you're already you're already, I call the black people in America the 7-foot midget because you're super tall, but you're convinced that you're short because white people have all the money and they make you think that you're poor. And but really you're the 7-foot midget. Africa's gonna be the 20-foot giant. Let me explain why. Number one, Africa has the fastest growing population on the earth. They're going to account for half of the world's population growth by the year 2050. Nigeria alone is going to have over 400 million people, just Nigeria. So what that means is you have more labor, you have more demand for consumer goods, which builds stronger economies. 70% of the U.S. economy is driven by consumer spending. In various parts of Africa, as the population grows, you will have more consumers, you will have more workers, and that's going to be extraordinary. No, because they didn't listen to Bill Gates when Bill Gates told them to stop having babies. They didn't listen to those folks, and I'm glad they didn't. Number two, by 2030, more than 40% of the world's youth are going to be African. 40%. And so when Elon Musk is going around and worried that white people are dying off, we don't have that problem. That's not our problem. That's his problem. That's his issue because he is part of a group of people that decided years ago to start limiting the reproduction rate because they didn't understand something that Africans understand inherently, which is that human beings are an asset, that your children are an investment, that your children are a pathway to prosperity. They are not a deterrent to your own prosperity. Number three, Tech innovation is growing in Africa. There are over 600 active tech hubs in Africa, in various parts of Africa, including countries like Kenya, Nigeria, Egypt, etc. So, in fact, they're actually calling Africa the next Silicon Valley. 75% of internet users in Africa access the internet through their mobile phones, which opens the door for digital banking, e-commerce, education, and media platforms like the Black Business School, which we're going to expand to Africa expeditiously. As my friend T, I met Ti in Ghana. He likes to use the word expeditiously. I'm using the word expeditiously. I told my wife, I said, okay, we coming to Ghana, then we're gonna go to Kenya, then we're gonna go to some other places because I want us to be connected to this. Also, Africa is building the world's largest free trade zone. Free trade zones are really important for the building of wealth, where you form trade relationships that reduce tariffs across the board. Donald Trump loves his tariffs. That reduces trade. That reduces economic activity. In Africa, in that free trade zone, they're going to actually lower the tariffs so they can trade with each other, and it's going to cover 1.3 billion people across 54 countries. So this is going to boost intra-African trade, Africans trading with Africans by 50%, which encourages industrialization and regional investment. Uh, Also, Africa holds 30% of the world's mineral reserves, including 70% of global cobalt, 50% of manganese, and 90% of the world's platinum. So this is critical. If you're talking about EVs and various forms of technology, renewable energy, you need these things. So Africa has all this, right? By 2030, Africa's middle class is projected to reach over a billion people with increasing income and consumption patterns. Also, over 60% of Africans will live in cities by the year 2050. So the cities like Lagos, Nairobi, and Accra are going to become major economic engines. So let me ask you this. Given that I explained to you that African American people have a higher annual spending power than every single country in Africa, and that if you add up the top 7 countries in Africa and their GDPs, it would take that many countries to just make up the spending power of African Americans. Do you agree with me that African American people are an economic powerhouse? Do you agree with me that that where we go, where we invest, is going to be powerful? Give me a yes if you agree on that. Give me a yes if you agree that they need us. We know white folks need us and white folks want us, but white folks don't do right by us. But maybe African countries will do better. Do you agree that we are an economic powerhouse? I hope that you understand that. Please stop saying African American people are poor. That is simply not true. The data does not support that. Give me a yes if you agree with that statement. Now, let's play matchmaker. Do you agree, based on the fact that Africa is going to have the fastest growing population on the earth? They're going to have 40% of the world's youth by the year 2030. That tech innovation is exploding. That they're going to open the largest free trade zone on earth. That they have 90% of the platinum, 30% of the world's mineral reserves, 70% of the cobalt, 50% of the manganese. Do you agree? When I tell you, do you believe me? When I tell you that Africa is going to be an economic beast in the next century. Do you agree with that? Is this assessment accurate to you? Well, then you got a beast in the right hand, a beast in the left hand. So beast needs to connect to beast so you can make a beastly baby. See, what you don't understand is that if we adopt the right mindset when it comes to our economics, if we really train the hell out of our babies and educate our kids and build our businesses and form those family investment clubs, get our kids invested early, teach them how to start businesses, teach them how to think strategically, teach them how to form organizations, teach them how to build institutions. If we do that in this generation, you don't understand what's happening here. This will be a power play that is going to rock the entire earth. This is going to put us in our natural position at the top of the throne. We will be the kings. The next thing we're going to need at that point is a military, because the power is going to be so vast and overwhelming that somebody is definitely going to come and try to take your stuff. So what I'm saying to you is this. Look, I'm not trying to tell anybody how they should feel about the politics of it all. I know that there's the debates about Pan-Africanism and what it means to be an African American and everything else. And I think all that can be respected. But to me, this is a golden multi-trillion, not billion, multi-trillion dollar opportunity, but we got to start carving out the pathways. We have to start building the trade routes. We have to start forming the relationships. What does that mean? Here's some basic things. We got people like Dr. Ken Harris from the National Business League. Dr. Ken Harris is partnering with us for the All Black National Convention, which is in Atlanta, August 21st to the 23rd. And Dr. Harris does trade delegations to Africa. They take Black business owners to Africa so they can meet the right people and do business with each other. I met another brother named Dr. Isaac Adah. Dr. Adah is also African American and he's Ghanaian and he's a professor at Vanderbilt. He too is bringing groups of African American people to Africa, introducing them to the higher ups in the government so they can form trade relationships. So these things are already happening. But here's what also needs to happen. Our people also need to make sure your babies get a passport, and every single Black person on this planet, in this country, should at some point do their best to do some sort of a pilgrimage to Africa. You have Jews that do pilgrimages back, they go to Israel and do whatever they do in Israel, right? You have Muslims that do their pilgrimage to Mecca. I think that we should have a pilgrimage to go back to the slave dungeons and everything else where it all began and get connected to that process and then do your exploration to as many African countries as you possibly can. They should be fluid. They should not, they should have less concern about flying to Kenya than they do about flying to Detroit. It should be as easy for them to pop over to Ghana as it is for them to go down to Miami, right? Or going over to South Africa or whatever should be as simple as going to Atlanta. The world is bigger than Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, and Miami, and Donald Trump. You've got a whole freaking planet, a whole damn continent that is a wealthy continent that is waiting for you to embrace it. And you got the money, so everybody wants a piece of what you got. The question is, who are you going to share that with? Right now, our biggest obstacle is that we love giving all of that money to white people. We love giving that money to Bernard Arnault, who runs Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, because we got rappers that will collude and tell you where to go spend your money, and it goes in all the wrong places. I'm here to encourage you to shift your economic thinking, to acknowledge your economic power, and to be very conscious and thoughtful about where that economic power goes. But in addition to that, I'm encouraging you to engage in a level of very seemingly radical structural thinking in which you dare say that maybe I shouldn't raise all my children to grow up and work for a white man, that maybe I can raise those children to collaborate with each other and form businesses and institutions of their own so they can have institutional power, which allows them to write their own tickets and make their own decisions, hire themselves, give themselves raises if they want to, and not be stuck under the thumb of white supremacist capitalism in America. Do you understand? See, the bigger problem here is not so much a lack of resources. We just proved that that's not true. We proved that you are richer than every single country in Africa by 4. You're not a little bit. Not it's not close. It's not like a neck and neck thing. It's like, no, we're big, and the richest country in Africa, South Africa, is tiny compared to us. That didn't include the other 53 countries. I mean, like you look at Guinea, that's 30 billion. We probably spend 30 billion on Hennessy a year. I don't know, right? So my point is to say that we've got the power. We got everything we need except the plan and the mindset. I can give you both. That's what a PhD in finance allows you to do. I can give you both. What's the plan? We educate our kids in a specific way to ensure that they are thinking on an institutional level at an early age. When I introduce my child to money, I'm not talking to them about getting a job. I talk to them about how to create a job. I talk to them about systems and technology and how to come in as the boss of something, how to own something, the power of ownership, right? We have a conversation where we go through in our Black Business School for Children. What we cover are things like it's building sturdy children. Sturdy, STERDY. Sturdy stands for Systems, Technology, Entrepreneurship, Relationships, and Delegation for the youth. That means that wealthy people think systematically. They're building systems, not labor. They know technology. Technology scales. That's where you get your billionaires from. They know entrepreneurship. If you create it, then you can manifest it into what you want it to be. But if you're living inside someone else's creation, then whatever you have is manifested by somebody else, and they tend to give you the crumbs. Relationships. Coming to Africa and I'm meeting people, I'm forming relationships. Those relationships matter. They open doors, they create possibilities. Learning how to form relationships, that is a skill. There should be classes on this. How to not be an asshole, how to be a good person, how to be helpful to others so they'll want to partner with you, and then delegation, how to build a team and tell the team members what to do, right? We know how to do that with a football team. We know how to tell the wide receiver how to run the route, how to tell the quarterback how to throw the ball, how to tell the defensive back how to play, how to get an interception. But do we know how to form a company and do the same damn thing? Do we know how to form a company and say, okay, you're the CEO, you're the vice president, you're the head of marketing, you're the head of sales, you're the person that's doing customer service, you're the person that's going to do outreach, right? Do we teach that to the kids, or do we teach them how to just get a job so they can be a cog in someone else's wheel? We have to train our children different. You have to raise them as the wealthy royalty that they are. You have to do, they are too damn powerful to just only dream of being a white man's employee. In fact, the term dream job should leave your damn vocabulary. I don't want our children dreaming of a damn job. I don't want them dreaming of labor. I don't want them dreaming of servitude. I don't want them dreaming of racist microaggressions in the corporate office. I don't want them dreaming about which white person is going to get the chance to abuse them in exchange for a paycheck. I don't want them dreaming about trading time for money. I want the dream to be a little bit bigger. I want the dream to be a dream of ownership. I want the dream to be a dream of power. I want the dream to be a dream of connection. I want the dream to be a dream of being a global citizen. I want the dream to be a dream of freedom where you can go where you want, do where you want, be what you want, at any time. So that means if America gets sour on you and Donald Trump or whoever the president is decides they don't like you, you're okay because you got a passport and your baby can go wherever they want because they can just get them a first class plane ticket, go to Nairobi, fit right in, and come back after the storm is over, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to show them the right ways to make money. There, not all money is good money, and that's very important for us to understand. So anyway, with that being said, I hope that you got my point. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and basically say that my general idea is that African American people have to really take a close look at Africa and the massive, vast amount of economic power that exists in that continent. You have to look at the trajectory of Africa and where Africa is going. Africa ain't playing with you. Africa is going to be a powerhouse. Hopefully, the leaders in Africa can stimulate. I'm going to help. I want to help. I want to do some Black business school stuff in Africa because if you understand how to control your resources, it's like having a fast car, but you got to learn how to be a driver. Do you understand? If you have a fast car, you shouldn't just learn how to be a passenger in a car, because if you're just a passenger, then you don't get to decide what car you're going to ride in, where you're going to go, who's driving. If the car breaks down, you don't know what to do with it. If you have a fast car, you should learn how to be a great driver and a mechanic. And maybe you should even learn how to design a better car if you want to. If you know how to build the car, fix the car, and drive the damn thing, then you're going to go a whole lot further than somebody who's trained to just be a passenger. So the same thing is true with economics. If all you're trained to do is work for white people, then you are being trained to be an economic passenger. You're being trained to walk into a situation with all your talent and let somebody else decide what your economic destiny is going to be. How high you go will be determined by what they want you to have, and you know they already don't want you to have nothing. What position you'll be in, they can slap you around, tell you where to go, and then they limit you and they disconnect you from Africa and other places you could be because they want to control you. So no more training to be an economic passenger. I think our kids should be trained to be drivers. That way, at least if you know how to be a driver, at least you have options. At least you got a choice. I mean, you could still be a passenger. Like you could still say, "Hey, I just want to be an employee. I don't want to own anything. I don't want to control anything. I don't want to run anything." I understand that. That's fine, but at least it'll be your choice and not somebody else's choice. At least you'll be doing it because you want to and not because you have to. Do you understand there's a difference there? Even that subtle difference makes a big difference in the lives of people. So, long story short, I think investing in Africa, that's the power move. That's the power move. That's not a power move that's going to make you rich overnight. It's not a power move that's going to maybe even make you rich in the next 5 or 10 years. It may not even be something that manifests in your lifetime. It probably won't. This is the power move that's going to put B1 people, Black first people, at the top of the economic food chain over the next 100 years. And once you establish that dominance, if you build a culture around that dominance and around that level of Black excellence, you're going to dominate for 5 or 600 years. That's where Black excellence lives. Black excellence lives with intelligent people making good decisions, taking care of their mental and physical health, raising their children properly, building their wealth, building institutions. Black excellence does not exist at a rap concert. Black excellence ain't never shown up at a basketball game or a football game. Black excellence does not exist at a comedy show. Those are all excellent in their own form, but that's what they made you into. They made you into a cartoon character that doesn't have any skill outside of entertaining your master. That's why most of the African American males that have prominence in the United States fit into one of those categories: comedian, rapper, or athlete. That's pretty much it. But we're bigger than that. We're better than that. We shouldn't be playing in the sports league. We should be owning them. And so there's a whole lot more beyond that. And that's what I want you to kind of consider. And that's what I want you to offer to your kids. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna go. One thing again, if you want, I put that list of African or ways to invest in Africa in the chat. I'm gonna put it in here again if you want to grab it. There it is. It's in the comments. Also, if you don't see it in the comments and you're watching the recording, just go to my Instagram and just type the word Africa in the comments of any video, and I'll DM you that list of different ways to invest in Africa through the publicly traded markets. Also, for those of you that want to join us at the All Black National Convention, that's going to be in Atlanta, August 21st to the 23rd. There are several African presidents that are bringing delegations to this convention. This is going to be heavy duty black millionaire status type things. If your goal is to be successful financially, this is the place to be. So feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com, and you can join us in Atlanta. And also, if you want to join us for the morning financial class, Money in the Morning, that's totally free. Just text that word morning, MORNING, on your phone to the number 87948. So text morning to 87948. And I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon. And I'll keep you posted on my adventures in Africa on my Instagram, which is Dr. Boyce Finance. I've been posting content up there, so you can feel free to take a look at my Instagram if you want to see what we got going on here. We got a couple more days, and then we'll be back home, and then we're gonna get ready for the convention. So take care.